Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of the Monster Report here at Monster HQ, or my office at home. And like many people, we are going to do a reaction to the new SHIN-GOJIRA trailer that dropped today. And it shows a lot more, but what I don't want it just to be my reaction, so I've invited a guest to join me. I have via Skype Mr. Christopher Oglio. How you doing, Chris?
Hey Nick, how you doing? Thanks for having me.
Yeah, doing great. And I was just thinking that today that we haven't heard a lot of noise, a lot of news about SHIN-GOJIRA in a while. We've seen some pictures. We had that little teaser trailer a while ago, and then suddenly, as I was leaving work, I see on Facebook all kinds of posts about this trailer. So let me get
it's weird because I was actually, it's funny, I was talking about that with my good buddy Kenny Napper this morning, and I was like, I haven't heard anything about SHIN-GOJIRA yet. It's like, and like 2 hours later I get a text, did you see the trailer from somebody? And it's like, all right, I'll pop in, let me go check it out, so it was kind of cool.
Yeah, finally getting some some news. And it's sort of like, I guess we're feeling like the 2014 when you're getting some news and maybe some of us out there are saying, you know what, I want to not see anything and wait until the film comes out. And some of us are like, I've seen some things already. It's hard to avoid the design. We've seen that quite a bit in posts on social media. But first reactions as you saw the trailer today.
I would say my first reaction was, I was like, oh, good. Thank goodness we can actually see him in action. It's not just, a silhouette. You're actually seeing money shots. I would say that I am still reserving a lot of judgment and anticipation of seeing the film this July. So it's hard to judge by the trailer because you're not seeing him totally, I feel like, in his total action element. He's walking, but he's not doing a whole lot of things in the trailer. Mm-hmm. So I'm more concerned to say, okay, well, where it's going to be in the final film. And there's still a lot of mysticism with, what the story is, where this red stuff that's on him is coming from. Is he regenerating? Is it one thing? Is it another? So that's, there's a lot of intriguing questions with the film. I will say that I think overall the color palette and the cinematography look very good. You're getting a very strikingly different tone, it looks like. It looks fairly dark, which is good. And the thing I'm most pleased with as a kaiju fan, I think one of the things we've gotten so much of over the years is everything's happening at night or in dust or in the rain. And it's nice that we're seeing a lot of shots of him in broad daylight. So that was kind of a good surprise for me.
Yeah, I was about to say that same thing. Seeing him in broad daylight, with the harshest sunlight pouring on the monster, which was one of those things when Steven Spielberg talked about Jurassic Park. When you see this thing in broad daylight, you can see a lot of mistakes that can be made in the special effects that can be covered in rain and, nighttime, a.k.a. Godzilla 1998.
Yeah,
rain. Yeah. No, just keep pouring rain on him. It doesn't look real
exactly.
enough.
He'll look better.
Yeah, it'll look better in post or something. But yeah, that was the other thing I was going to say is, we see him in broad daylight and we get to see quite a bit of the monster. It's not as if, like the 2014, it's all these in the shadows or behind dust. We're in debris and all that. We are, face to face with him at a certain point. So, do you think that's a good idea to do that in a trailer at this point?
Yes, because I think there's a big tendency nowadays with films, and rightfully so, in a pre-production process to disguise what something is going to look like. And I understand that to a certain degree up to, major marketing of a film. Mm-hmm. But I think there's been that trend, again, 98 was a notorious advertising campaign with that, as we're not going to reveal the monster till opening day. So seeing them do this is good. I like the idea that when we saw a teaser poster of him, we saw the face, there were a few leaked images online, and now, we've got a trailer with, quite a bit of Godzilla footage, So I think that's a nicer trend to see, because sometimes there is too much of that. Oh, we're going to reveal it, we're going to save it. I think just show them it without showing everything. That's an important kind of thing to have, and it makes things a little bit of a different viewing experience,
Yeah, and the makers of trailers are kind of finding their formula, and it's changed in the years. When we used to see the trailer and there was so little reveal of pretty much anything, everything was a teaser. And I remember some of the trailers out there, goodness gracious, made the film look so much better than it really was.
It was, because you're basically recutting the trailer and you're seeing one version of a movie in a trailer and you think that's the tone of the film, and it's a completely different one when you walk out of the theater opening night or whatever it was. So, that's a very odd trend and something that's been going on the last few years, and it's a marketing ploy. That's kind of plain and simple from a studio perspective, or a filmmaking perspective. But this, I think, it showed a little bit here and there, and I think overall it was cool to see. But again, there's not much to go on because a lot of it, we don't know what the situations are. We're not seeing, everything is kind of quiet with the actors. It's more images and music together,
Yeah, and let's comment on that music. I actually didn't mind that music. I liked, the kind of tone that they gave us with it. I didn't mind it. I wouldn't have minded hearing, though, a good Showa, tribute in there, even if it were just a cue of 54.
Or even just, you got the Ifukube theme in there somewhere. I think when you see that, then you get a little more exciting with it. But this was more, slightly on the creepy side, but not very overly scary. But, it was kind of a simple type of music that was there. And maybe that's the reflection of the tone of the film or the direction that they're going in. You don't know. And it's a lot of it is right now we're all on fan speculation, but we'll see on July 29th,
Yeah, and the other thing about it was the roar that we heard. Very, I'd say, classic kind of Showa sounding roar. It wasn't,
and that, I think that was good. I mean, it could be filler. It could just be, we're not going to reveal the new roar or whatever it is. And who knows? They might just go with the classic roar. It's, there's classic elements to the design. I think the dorsal fins are very Showa inspired. They also, it's funny, I think they kind of look a little bit like the Biollante poster, the art style poster by Noriyashi Arai. He's kind of got those similar kind of dorsal plates. But, I think overall, and there's that 54 type of head. It's not quite a Godzilla 54 head, but it has a reminiscent. There are certain qualities and characteristics that are reflective of that.
Yeah, and they've gotten away from the more hunched forward kind of Godzilla that we saw in the Millennium series, with a few exceptions. He's very standing upright, dragging his tail. To certain points, of course, we see the tail at one point.
Jeez, that's crazy long, his new tail. Oh my goodness,
Yeah, I know. I liked that shot a lot when it was going over. I was waiting on it to hit something, though, because it's like, why not? Have it destroy something.
Well, that's the interesting about the trailer. You're not seeing a lot of him causing, like, major destruction. You see, like, an aftermath shot, and, the Japanese military and the response teams getting, very anxious about what's going on. But you're not seeing him, like, crashing through the streets. They're firing at him, but he's more just, like, there. I don't know whether that's something that's reflected in the film or it could just be the particular shots they chose. And maybe with, a trailer B, you might get something more like that, Who knows? Right.
Yeah, we'll just have to wait and see what we get. And then the other thing to comment on, the design of him, all of that. I'll say my negative first, and then maybe you can either take it from there or comment on it. The one thing that I've been waiting to see, and which always bothered me about those still images, is I see his hands doing this kind of holding them, palms open and up, and they're just not doing anything, and they're so tiny, of course. Which, yes, if you think of a dinosaur T-Rex kind of design, yeah, you would say smaller arms because he's brute strength and whatever about the arms. But even in the trailer, as he's sort of moving, they're just still kind of hanging out like that, almost like he's like, I don't know. What'd you think?
Well, I guess it's another nod to Godzilla 54, where he has it's a similar pose that he has, and his arms didn't move a heck of a lot in the original film anyway, so maybe it's some kind of a throwback, or again, it could be a matter of they're saving the money shots for the film or another trailer, and this is just kind of a taste of the design, And again, we've seen the leaked pictures and some of the leaked, people's inspiration of concept arts online, and it's cool seeing how similar that actually was. Now that we're seeing him more in full motion, again, it's hard to judge the design. I mean, initially, and this is still my opinion about it, I tend to like the design because it feels very almost like a zombie Godzilla. It feels very nightmarish. And I think that's a good trait with what they're trying to accomplish with this film, making it a very dark, present day, character driven story, which is what I hope the film actually is in the end. But, it's hard to judge his total, characteristic, how this incarnation of Godzilla is going to go because he wasn't exactly moving around a lot in the trailer, so he's kind of just slightly moving in the background. And that's it's part of you is like, oh, you wish you could see more, but I guess for what this is, for this particular trailer and this publicity material, it is what it is, and hopefully he'll be a very moving Godzilla, and he'll have a lot of spunk, I guess, for lack of a better term, when he's actually in the film.
Yeah, and I like the, where you were kind of going there is that we're going to get a new movie, probably, maybe a new origin story. I've always thought that it would be a great origin story to almost leave it mythological, that he doesn't have a basis in science that really can explain him, kind of like the 54 film. There's a little bit of that notion there that he is mythological, based on the islanders of Odo Island, and that he is almost a godlike creature that needs to have sacrifices every once in a while. And but then there's the science side of it, is that we awoken him with the results of nuclear testing in the Pacific. So I kind of like leaving it as him almost being, godlike almost, and almost this mythological kind of creature, and that he is so, he's this destructive force that it really doesn't matter what we do, that we just got to get out of his way, and he kind of looks like that. Of course, without any dialogue in the trailer. The world is wide open for us to discover when the film comes out in the end of July.
Yeah, I mean, it still keeps you kind of intrigued on it from a fan level, both a casual fan or someone like us that's more in depth with the genre. I think it's this still leaves a lot of speculation, which is good. Again, there is a tendency to show so much of everything, and by the time you went to the movie, you've seen half the movie in 5 or 6 different trailers and TV spots. So, it's interesting to see where it's all going to ultimately go, what the actual story is going to be. But again, I think that's a cool notion of having him be something like that. But, we'll have to wait and see. Who knows,
Yeah, and he's had so many origin stories over the years between American Godzillas and the Japanese, the Heisei, the Showa, and Millennium series. Even in the Millennium series, I can't remember if there were 3 or 4 different origin stories within that even.
Yeah, there were quite a bit of them. But, I also thought one of the things I really liked about the trailer was these dead-on shots of him directly from the face. He looks very menacing, very creepy, almost kind of otherworldly. And again, he's got this very slender, long neck, and he's got a very large torso, and it's a very different type of design. And I think them experimenting with something could be a very good thing, and could add some extra, rejuvenation into the genre.
Yeah, in a lot of ways, like with the design, the Burning Godzilla design in Destroya, it's a risky, take to redesign in some ways the Godzilla suit, but I think a lot of people embraced, of course, what was going on with Destroya. Wow, there is something new that they can explore with something that's going on, whether in this character of Godzilla, of course, this monster we're seeing in Resurgence, is he regenerating? Is he, is that musculature? Is that, is it going to change as we go through the film? Is that battle damage? Who knows what it could be? Just, again, right now, speculation.
I think it's cool too, and again, I'm a big Burning Godzilla fan, but it's kind of cool that it, from a long distance shot, it kind of has that vibe. So, trying something new, I think, is a much needed approach, and it's something, especially from the Japanese to produce this film. It's going to be interesting to see where it's going to be and where it's going to go. I'm excited to see it, and I just hope, like any other Godzilla film or any film you look forward to, you just hope it's a good movie at the end of the day. Give me a good story and good characters, and hopefully Godzilla is it's everything we expect it to be and hope that it could be.
Now, interestingly, of course, like you said, it's a Japanese film first, so we're going to have to wait, of course, here in the United States, except for a specific group of people that might be visiting Japan in the end of
True.
July, and seeing it, on opening day, anyways, or close to opening day. Correct?
Yeah. There's that's kind of on the radar.
Okay, and as far as the international release of this, when it comes over, which of course it's got to come over here to the United States so we can see it on our theaters. How long do you think? I guess it will take us to actually see it after its opening
Oh,
day in July.
gee, I don't know. I hope it's not a long one, and you hope that the film is very good, that it warrants a, if nothing else, a limited theatrical distribution rights. But that's going to be a hard thing to judge how long it could be. I just hope it's not a very long one, to get this as a North American distribution rights over, and to get it screened or on DVD and Blu-ray or Netflix or however they decide to go about it. It's really ultimately up to, I guess, the powers that be.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting if they create a international release, dubbing it in China, with whatever voice actors they can get, like we got in the some of the Showa series, and of course the Heisei series, or if we're going to have an American company,
Straight.
yeah,
Yeah.
do a dub, or re-looping similar to what Sony did, with some of the, well,
True.
I think only Sony did the 2000 film, didn't they? In the re-looping of things.
They did.
Yeah, so if
They did, because I believe there was an international version of that, and then Sony just said, we're gonna just do our own thing,
yeah, with
when
some
2000 came out,
yeah, with some rearranging of shots for an American audience. So yeah,
True, but who knows? I mean, if I would hope that maybe, because there's been maybe an openness lately with more foreign films in the market, that maybe they would just do a straight subtitled kind of a film. Who knows? I would certainly like to see that if I were a viewer here for the first time, but it's not for everybody. So
yeah,
it's got to be what your taste is, and I guess what the distributors feel is in the best interest of the film.
Yeah, I'd agree on a subtitled version of it. I'd sure like to see it, and I think, yeah, way back, of course, that was such a thing that it's like, oh, it's subtitled. I don't want to see it because I just don't want to read the film. I just want to sit back and be entertained by it. And so you weren't seeing, or that's art house film because it's foreign. Now It seems like we're a little bit more accepting of films, seeing on the big screen, and a big worldwide theatrical release, with subtitling, which I appreciate that. I love seeing the Showa series that the classic media released, seeing the Japanese version, seeing their versions of the editing, some more changes than others, like Godzilla versus Mothra, or Godzilla versus the Thing, and the Japanese version. Not much in the changing process of re-editing that for the United States audience or the international audience. But then when you see, of course, the original Gojira, very different.
Oh, yeah. Big difference.
yeah, very different in the sense, and maybe who knows if they're going to shoot some additional footage and put an American in there like they did in 54 and 84. So we'll just wait and see, I guess. But any last thoughts?
Exactly.
Any last thoughts on the SHIN-GOJIRA trailer?
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, as a fan, excited to see more of him. I'm very excited to see the film because it is the first time in over 10 years there'll be a Japanese Godzilla film. So I'm excited that they're producing new content, and I just, like everybody else, I just hope it's a great movie and it's a worthy addition. And again, having Higuchi on board and Hideki Anno, it's exciting to see what they're going to bring to the project. So, it's only a few months away, which is very hard to believe. But I think no matter what everybody's reaction is to the trailer, and there'll be people that are positive about it, or they'll be negative about it. But at the end of the day, I think we, as Godzilla fans, we've got so many great things coming into the market, and there's a new film, so it's all the more reason to celebrate.
Yep, and the fact that he's back in the limelight, he's back in in the news, and it's kind of disappointing when you hear things like Pacific Rim getting postponed, Pacific Rim 2, and it's like, oh, I was really hoping for a monster cinematic universe, a giant monster cinematic universe, and
Sure.
seeing Godzilla and King Kong, the new Skull Island news that we're getting.
Yeah, and there was that came out the other day, which was cool. Seeing some clips about that, and I guess in some ways it's kind of a monster movie renaissance, which could be a very good thing, and I'm very happy. And again, it's as long as they're good films, and you can kind of pass that from one generation to another.
Yep,
keeps the franchise alive.
That's right. Yeah, I don't mind Marvel either, but at the same time, I've always been kind of a monster movie fanatic first, and I was really hoping that we're going to start seeing this. So, we can only hope as fans that we're heading in the right direction with that, and seeing Japan getting back to and Toho, of course, seeing that Toho Scope logo at the beginning just got me excited again.
Oh yeah, and the fact that it's the first Godzilla movie since Godzilla '85 seems to be, from all accounts, a solo Godzilla movie, Godzilla versus the Japanese army, basically, and there's no other kaiju in it, and that's kind of an interesting take too, because it's like, okay, we haven't seen this in so long, and again, not counting Godzilla '98, but seeing this take place is just Godzilla alone, standalone in the film. Curious to see what happens.
I agree. Yeah, which is back to his origins. So, thank you so much, Chris, for joining us, and we look forward to seeing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, look forward to seeing you at G-Fest.
Absolutely,
and getting some news here soon. We're going to have you on another episode for another topic here soon too. So, appreciate it a lot. All right, and thank you.
Oh, thank you, Nick. Thanks, man.
Okay, and thank you for joining us for another episode of Monster Report. Check out some more videos that we've got going on, some unboxing, and some more Universal classics that are coming out. So, as far as the reviews go, so looking forward to seeing more and more information about Shin-Gojira in the future. So, thank you so much.